Back to our channel, that is AI next generation. So this is the third video of the sentiment analysis. In the last two video we already have been covered about the what do you mean by the sentiment analysis and what the IMBD data set we are going to take and how we are just going the step by step in this whole series of the sentiment analysis, the various type of text pre-processing, text normalization, word embedding we are going to build in these videos. And then after also I have explained you which library you are going to use in for this particular sentiment analysis and what the use of every library. So I have covered this all things. So if you have not gone through, please go and watch the first two video. Clear? So this particular video we will focus on the text pre-processing step. So text pre-processing step is very crucial step. Before you can't fit any text data directly to the any model. That is, once you are just creating the LSTM model, in that particular words will have all the text will have contains the many noise in your data set. So you have to remove that noise in the data set. For that purpose you are going to use the text pre-processing step. Okay, so now let's start with the text pre-processing step. Just writing here text pre-processing step. Okay, so what I can just write here, build this one markdown. Okay, let it be. So for that text pre-processing step you will only do the pre-processing for the review columns. Okay, so you don't want to do the pre-processing for the sentiment, so you only for the review. In that particular review, if someone is giving the positive review or the negative review, so you want to do the text pre-processing for that particular what the person has been speak. Clear? So for that I'm just creating one function for the text pre-processing. I'm just writing here def equal to text pre, that is the function name I'm just giving, and I'm just passing data. Okay, so in this place why I've just called just now, sorry for that. So in this particular case what the data will be, once you are just calling this particular text pre, that is a function, in that you will pass the df of that particular review. That's it. You don't have to pass for the all, you have to pass only for the review. Clear? You don't have to pass for the sentiment. So don't be doubt in this. Then after what you are going to do, you want to iterate through all the data frame for I in range. You already have been seen that total length of your data frame is particularly 50,000. Clear? So what you are just writing here, for I in range length of data, that is a df. You are just writing you are just writing data, not df. Data, that is the data we have just taken the argument for that. That is the data, means you are going to iterate, you want to run this particular for loop 50,000 times, because the first iteration it will select the first row and the first text, and this particular first text it will just do all the text pre-processing step. Again it will move to the second row of the text, and again it will do the text pre-processing step, and this so on. It will go for the 50,000, means total rows you have, total number of rows you will have the 50,000, because we are just finding the length of data frame, that's the 50,000. Clear? So now what you are doing, the first step, every time you have to just do, you have to convert your data frame, that is a text data frame, either it should be in the lower case or either it should be the upper case. So in the lower case and upper case, why we are just doing, so once you are just going to the label the data frame, like if I'm just writing here boy, and then in second I'm just writing boy, they will be for this, for the computer, that is the different. Boy is in the upper case, that is a b in the upper case, and small b in the lower case. So they will just map to the different words. So means they will just map this token to, that once you will do the word to integer, so that we are going to build in the after this completion of the text pre-processing step. So in that case boy will match to the another, you can just say index, and this boy will match to the another index, because there is a difference between the uppercase and the lowercase. Clear? So for that you are just, either you can just change every text data in the uppercase, or either you can just change every data in the lowercase. It's like normal, we every time we are going for the lowercase most. Data I equal to data I, and then after you're just writing here the lower. Clear? And now what you are just going to write here, and then after you are going to do tokenize your data set. Okay, so you already have the text. Suppose for the first iteration you are just taking the first row, and the first row you will have the one paragraph, that is the some xyz like this. It will just, I'm just writing the random. Now you will do the tokenize of this particular words. You will get a list of the all the tokens. Clear? So here what you're just writing here, word token, and then after in the word token you are just writing here word tokenizer. You already have been imported this thing, word tokenizer, that is above, you can just see. and then you are just passing data of that particular row. Okay, why you are just passing means first row or second row or third row. Clear? And then after, what you're just doing, you are just doing the third step, you are just doing the particular cleaning your data set. For the cleaning your data set, you will need the stop words for that. Like you will have the stop words, and then after you have to remove the stop word for, because you don't want any stop words in your data frame. That is a stop words is basically a, and the, where, that is very common word. Okay, so that is indirectly you are just in introduction the sound in your data frame. You want to remove that sound from your data frame. Clear? So I can just write, I'm just writing one again variable, and then after I'm just creating a list convention. I want to iterate for all the word token for I in word token for this particular first row, because the first iteration time, I'm just taking the first row, means the first row you will just take first time, means the loop will run the first row only, and then after it will do the word tokenizer of that, and then after it will just going for the word tokenizer. You are going to get a list of all the tokens, and then after you are to iterate your that particular data frame. That is all that word token. Inside the word token, how many token you are getting, you want to iterate for that. And if that particular token is stop words, then you don't want to consider that that token. Clear? You want to remove that token. So how you're going to do this all thing, you can just write here for I in word tokens, if I not in stop words, and then after you're just writing here words. Okay, so you're just saying that if that particular I, that is the particular token, is not in the stop words, because in the stop words, this is the package of the NLTK, they already have 100 or 50 number of stop words. If that particular, if your token match to their stop words, you don't want to consider that word, because that is the stop words. And like also one more condition you are just passing for that, and this is should I, that is that particular should be is in alpha numerical. Okay, so what do you mean by alpha numerical means all the particular text will be either alphabetic or it will be numerical. That's it. You don't want any HTML tag, like you don't want any HTML tag, you don't want symbol, you don't want double dot. This all thing you want to remove. Removing the punctuation indirectly, you can just say you don't want to consider this whole thing. So for that also means you indirectly you're just writing, if that particular word is alphanumerical, then return. If that particular word is not an alphanumeric, then don't return. That's what you are just going to do. Clear? This is the third step. Fourth step, you are just going for the cleaning up data. That is already you have removed the text, that is stop words. You already remove all the punctuation in your data frame. Then finally what you are going to do, you are going to do for the text normalization step. So text normalization step is basically you will do the word net limitizer. You already have imported the word limitizer. The what the function of word net limitizer, you want to get the root word from that particular words. Like you can just say, if you have the uh running, jumping, so you don't want running, jumping and this all thing. Okay, so you want the root for that. The root word for the running is the run, for the jumping is the jump. Okay, so you want only the root word. So with the help of word net limitizer, you will able to do this thing. Clear? So before that, you have to make the object of word net limitizer. What is the library you have imported revolves? This library you have imported, that is a word net limitizer. So for that, you have to just make the object of that. You can just create the object here. I'm just writing ws equal to word net limitizer. Clear? And then after you are just creating again the list comprehension of that clean, I can just say clean lemma. Okay, and I'm just writing again the for that is a list comprehension for I in clean data. Okay, you are just writing for I in clean data. If that not you don't have to give any condition, you have to just return that ws. What is that? Ws is particular the object you are just making, and from that you are just calling the limitize method, and you are just passing the I. That's it. You are checking for the every tokens of the clean data. If that particular that tokens is that is not satisfying the condition, or you can just say that is not in the root words, then it is just making that one in the root words, and finally you are giving everything into a list. That a clean data, you are getting everything in the list. Now what you have to just do, now you have to return everything in the list. For that, what you can just write here, you can just create an empty list for that clean, what I can just write here, clean list. I can just write here, and I'm just making the object of that. Sorry, I'm just initializing the list, that is a clean list, and then after you are just appending from the clean list, you are appending all this particular for the home, the text pre-processing, text normalization you have just performed. You want to just extract, you want to just append in this particular clean list, and this particular list you want to return. So what do you mean by this? Finally means I will just explain again. I will explain you how the thing is going to process. The first time it will take the first row, then after it will going to do the all the lowercase, then finally you are going to tokenize that particular first row. I'm just talking about the first row, first iteration only. So once you understand the first iteration, it will for the second, third, it is going to perform the same as it is. Again you are just going the clean data, means you are just iterating through all the word token you are getting in the list, and if that particular token, if you are just checking, you are just removing the stop words, you are removing the punctuation for that, so that's why you have just written this one. Yeah, here here you have to return, I have not forget to think, here you have to return I. Okay, so means for you are just writing for I in word token, if that particular I or that particular token not in the stop words, and that particular token is not an alphanumeric, that is alphanumeric, then just return. And then after you are just performing the limitizer for that. Limitizer basically you want only the root word from that particular words. So for that you are just using the limitize, and then for that again you are just returning a list, and finally you want a list that contains all the for the all the particular rows. You can just say all the particular row, it should hold the one list, and then after you are just returning, you are just creating a list inside the list. Okay, so the clean list will contain how, I can just show you some, it will just, I'm just writing the demo part only. Sorry for that, what I was speaking. So here what I'm just writing a comma b, and then after again I'm just writing c, and then after I'm just writing here d, and then after I'm just following with the again the list. I'm just writing here E. So what do you mean by ED? So suppose this is a random example. I'm just saying how this list will be visualized. So for the clean list, you are just creating a list, the first row, the second row, the third row. Okay, this is how it will going to, and list inside the list you are just taking. And then after what you want to do, you want to return this particular list. That's what you want to do. So you can just write here return clean list. This is the step you are just following for the text speed processing step. I think this is really simple for the beginner. If you're really beginner in the NLP section, you can just go with that what step I have just explained you. Even you can just go for the that is a regular expression term. For the beginner it is really hard to find the regular expression of that we are going to consider in the next video. So this is the first step, this is the text speed processing step you should follow for the every project. So yeah, and then after you, once you are just, you have to just call this particular function, you are just storing in the clean data, and then after you are just writing here pre-text pre-processing, that is a text prep, and then after you are just calling from data frame, you want only the review, clear, you want only the review columns. So you can just write here review. So before running this one, keep in mind that you have to again export to that is you have to download the packages, that is stop words packages you have to download. You have to download the wordnet packages. And how you're going to download, because for me it will not give me the error. I already have downloaded, because you once you just install the NLTK library, so inside the NLTK library you will also have to download some packages. Okay, you can just download NLTK download. You can just write here stop words for that, and then you have just download the package for the stop words. Then after you can just write here download puncte, all this a normal step what you are just doing here, it is stored in the punct, that is the what to, that is a, you are just doing word, that is a word tokenizer you are just doing, sentence tokenizer you are just doing, everything is processed with the help of punct. Okay, and then NLTK I have to write here, clear. And then again you're just writing NLTK dot download, and for the limitizer you also have to write, because that is also the you are just changing every word into a root words. For that it is a wordnet. Now just download. So for every package it has been installed in our in my system. So yeah, it will take only 30 seconds to install for your system too. And then after I can just run. I don't want to run for the 50,000, because for the 50,000 if you are doing the text pre-processing, and you can just see it is really long text for the, even for the first row. If you're just selecting df review, and from that review you are selecting only the first row, this much long you are getting the, yeah. So you don't want this thing, you want only the particular. I'm just, if for the 50,000 it is nearly, it will take, I don't know, it will, but it's approx it will take at least 15 minutes or 20 minutes, depends upon you how your system configuration it is. Okay, so for I will just take only the first 50 row, that's it, so that I can just show you. So for how to select the first 50 row, I will just select df df equal to df dot ilog. That what I'm just doing the indexing directly in the pandas. So I'm just selecting only the 50 rows, and from that 50 rows I want all the column. For the all the column you just mention this thing. Okay, now again I can just write here, I can just run this one. Now my length of data frame become the 50. Now again run. Yeah, it will take time again for the 50 also. It is going to take 1 minute's time. So yeah, so once it is done, okay, so now the after this we are going to do the check whether about the how many unique word for your data frame it is, and how then after we are going to do the padding purpose, then after we are just creating a dictionary, that is a word to int, that is a word to int or into word. We are creating this type of dictionary there. So this all the step we are going to follow in the next videos. So here I think it is taking really time for the 50, that is the total 50 rows also it is going to take time. Yeah, it is, and I if you are just going for the, if you have the, if your system has you can just say i7, or you can just say 16 GB RAM or graphic card you have, so you can just run for all the 50,000. Or if you are just doing for some high level projects, say for the baser projects, say, or for the company projects, so you have to just run for all the 50,000 total number of rows you have to run. So it already has been run, you can just see. And then after what you're just going here, you are just writing here, that is a clean data. You can just check the clean data. I want for the clean data for the first, yeah, what I have written clean data, that is a clean data. Oops, my bad. So this is the for the first row you are getting this all in the tokens, in the all the words, that is all for that first row, that is text. You are just returning it tokens of the all the word, and after pre-processing step you are getting this all thing. Okay, now what you can just do, you can even just make one data frame, that is the one column in your data frame, but that will be the mismatch because you want only the, you already selected, suppose df dot head, you have selected only the 50 rows. We have just selected 50 rows, and if I'm just writing here df, it is going to take for all the 50 rows. You will able to see, and then from that I'm just creating one more data, or that is a one more column, that is a clean data, clean word token, I can just say. Clear? And here I'm just writing here for the clean word tokens, what I have to write here, what I have written the variable name, that is a clean data, as something I have written. Yeah, clean data, I can just write here clean data. Okay, and run this one, and then after you can just see df dot head. So yeah, it will give you the one more particular, that is a clean word token, that is a columns you are getting. So yeah, I'm just representing this thing, so that's really simple. So yeah, we have done with the text pre-processing step, text normalization step. So the next step means inside also you will have to do with the word to int, tokenize, sorry, we have to convert your word into into dictionary form, that is a word to a particular integer. You have to give the index of every word or index to the word padding. So you will have the lots of function you have to create again. So that's all for this video. So yeah, thank you.